outside the door of love and mercy. You wonder if there's a place there for you. You know there's peace inside, but still you're searching for someone who understands the pain you've been through. Well, the Spirit waits with open arms. It's calling out your name. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, come on in, come on in. You'll find a place of rest in the arms of Spirit. It's waited so long for your homecoming day. It knows the peace you need and the hurt you're feeling. We want to hold you and to wipe your tears away. For the door's unlocked, the lights are on. What are you waiting for? Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, come on in. There is room enough in the home of love for someone just like you. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, come on in, come on in. No matter where you've been, come on in, 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 come on in. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. For the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, la 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 la. While I tell the Yuletide treasure, la 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 la. La 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 la.
Beautiful. Welcome to Unity of Wilmington's hybrid service. What a joy to be with you whenever you are here. We have people in the room today, and I thank you for being here. And we have people online, and I thank you for being here. Wherever you are, whenever it is, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are in the right place at the right time. And that right time is right here and right now, because you are. And we know the truth that you are a beloved expression of God. And we know that we are all here for a holy purpose, and that purpose is to love. That purpose is to express all of our divinity and our humanity that we can do. So as we enjoy this time together, know that only in our minds does the distance separate us, that in our hearts and in spirit we are one, we are together, and we are united in this moment. And so it is.
Only in my darkest moments, can I see the light? I think I'm prone to getting blinded when it's bright. Well, this December I'll remember. Want you to see it when I do. Ooh, God knows I do. Only in my darkest moments can I see the light. I think I'm prone to getting blinded when it's bright. Well, this December I'll remember. Want you to see it when I do. Ooh, God knows I do. I'm alright if you're alright. I'm okay if you're okay. It's this state, in this state I'm living in. It's just a little bit, it's just a little bit lonely in this home. It's always colder on your own. My darling, I let the season change my mind. Only in my darkest moments I wanna see you with your head wide open, empty in the ground, gone without a sound, just another white elm growing at the end of town. Well, this December I'll remember. Want you to see it when I do. Ooh, God knows I do. I'm alright if you're alright. I'm okay if you're okay. It's this state, in this state I'm living in. It's just a little bit, it's just a little bit in this December I'll remember. Want you to see it when I do. Ooh, God knows I do. I'm alright if you're alright. I'm okay if you're okay. It's this state, in this state I'm living in. It's just a little bit, it's just a little bit in this December I'll remember. Want you to see it when I do. God knows I do.
Katie Deese on the keyboards, John Hill on drums, Justin, you were amazing on the guitar, and of course, Paul Teal. Unity of Wilmington's theme for the season, for this Christmas season, are classic Christmas movies. And people go, really? How interesting. But did you ever realize that the long list of Christmas classic movies, each and every one of them has a spiritual lesson? Trust me, I know, because I am a professional spiritual lesson finder. I can find spiritual lessons in cowboys, in pirates, in disco, in Motown, and in many, many places, in many, many things. In everything, there is a spiritual lesson. In everything, including every Christmas classic movie, there's also metaphysical interpretation, and there's metaphysical lessons that they bring us. So even the Christmas classic Die Hard has metaphysical lessons in it. And I know that there's a fiery debate about whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie. But let's just put that aside for a moment and look at the metaphysics. Because when we look at the metaphysics, I mean, when does it begin? It begins on Christmas Eve. And what is Christmas Eve metaphysically? But that moment in consciousness that we've been preparing for a period of time, whether it be Advent or maybe even our whole lives, to have that awakening, to have that illumination of a higher, more expanded experience of ourselves, to have that flash of personal transformation. John McClane gets on a plane and he flies from where he is to where he's going. And where is he going? To a place that metaphysically and literally means, it's Los Angeles, the city of angels. And metaphysically, what are angels? They're those divine ideas we get when we are ready in consciousness for these new great ways of being, these big shifts in consciousness to occur. And what is he doing? He's flying to Los Angeles so he can reconcile with his wife. And what's required for reconciliation? A shift in consciousness, going from one consciousness to another. So whether it's really a Christmas classic, I don't care. It has a metaphysical meaning that invites us into recognizing that even in our life journey, we can see that reflected out in the world. We can see all the twists, the plot twists, and the turns, and the unexpected things that come up metaphysically in that movie also come up for us in our lives and end with a miracle. Say miracle. 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 So really, what does make a Christmas movie? What makes a Christmas movie a classic? And now, this is a rhetorical question, so I don't expect you to answer. I'll just tell you. Okay, number one, it is not the release date. Because if it had to be released at Christmas, then classic movies like Christmas in Connecticut and Miracle on 34th Street wouldn't qualify because they were both released in the summer. And even Holiday Inn and that other one, White Christmas, were released, among other Christmas classic movies, were released before Halloween. So it's not the release date. Now, partially, what makes a Christmas movie a classic Christmas movie is that at some point in the movie, it has to be Christmas. So the seasonal favorite, Meet Me in St. Louis, in its running time, about 25% of it took place at Christmas. So that makes it a Christmas movie, right? Now, James Bond, on the other hand, in the movie, 1969 movie, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, almost the entire movie takes place at Christmas. But it doesn't have a happy ending, which is a Christmas classic. No. So it's not on the list. The third thing that you might think makes a Christmas movie classic is the genre. So we think, oh yeah, Christmas classic movies are all what? They're not all romances. They're not all comedies. They're not all rom-coms. They're not just science fiction. They're not thrillers. They're not historical. They're probably just about every genre you can imagine. And there's whatever genre you name, there's a Christmas classic movie in that genre. So we know that that's not it. Now, Reverend Nikki and I have already started our holiday tradition of watching Christmas movies, and I will say our tastes run a little bit corny because we like Hallmark movies. So, that's a genre in itself, just confessing. Okay, so the fourth thing that would make a classic Christmas movie is the theme. And when we think about the holidays, we idealize them. So we think, oh yes, Christmas classic movies are going to be filled with love and joy and nostalgia for the season. But when research takes a look at all those movies that are on the list, really most of them are filled with loneliness, cynicism, family dysfunction, and they all have overcoming so that there's a miracle. Say miracle. Miracle, so that there's a miracle. So here's what I believe. I believe what makes a Christmas movie, a classic Christmas movie, is that it's about transformation. There is a character, and through character development, that character has a transformational experience. And that in itself is uplifting. So no matter where you start, no matter what genre or how much of the movie actually takes place during the holiday season, there is transformation in the movie. And the second thing I believe that makes a classic Christmas movie is that it gets watched together in company. Now, in the days before COVID, we would invite people over and we would say, come over. We're going to watch A Wonderful Life together. And you're going to say, great, I'll be right there. But in today's time, we've had to adapt that spiritual practice, that psychological strategy that helps us adjust to a new environment. And I'm going to be talking about that in just a little minute. But what we do today is, if you do feel comfortable, you have a few friends over so you can still physically distance yourself, or you have a watch party. You have a watch party, you say, okay, we're all going to watch A Wonderful Life at this time. Let's, ready, set, click. And then wherever you are, friends and family from miles and miles or right next door, you watch together. Because in our culture and in our society, shared stories are stories that have value to us. So let's talk about Home Alone. Home Alone. It's been a Christmas classic movie just about since it was released, which was 1990. And in the olden days, I would have said, how many of you have seen Home Alone? And then everybody in the house gets to raise their hand, but online, I cannot see you. So you may have seen it, or you may not have seen it, but the plot goes like this. The youngest member of a large, chaotic, dysfunctional family gets left behind when the rest of the family goes to Paris for vacation. He gets left behind, and it takes days for his mother and the rest of his family to come back to be with him, so he's no longer alone. And what happens is really convoluted, but it's a movie. And what happens is he makes the transformation from this very self-centered, attention-starved, picked-on kid to a child who is wise and compassionate and who truly appreciates his family. It's a wonderful story. It's told with ingenuity. It's told with creativity and comedy. And I mean, I felt embarrassed laughing watching it, but I did laugh. I mean, how crazy is it? But really, it's probably at its best improbable. It's improbable because how in the world can an 8-year-old kid named Kevin, of all things, which is really actually a very good name. I know somebody in the congregation right in front of me has a son named Kevin, so yeah, it's a great name. How can this 8-year-old kid come from an environment where he's never had the opportunity to have any adult-like responsibility, transform into someone who can do his own grocery shopping, his own meal planning, and even have conversations with the grocery clerk and fend off these 2 burglars? How improbable is that? But if you think about improbable stories, improbable plots, improbable, convoluted events that have to be strung together to make a story like this. Think about the greatest story ever told. How convoluted is that? Mary conceives. Joseph marries her anyway. They journey on a donkey to Bethlehem. There's no room at the end. She has the baby anyway. Anyway, amidst a chorus of angels and shepherds coming to adore her and the baby and worship this baby, and then having the Magi come and bring presents. I mean, if you talk about convoluted string of events, it happens there too. So let's look at Home Alone and see what the spiritual lessons are. And Reverend Nikki, may I also have a tissue from somewhere? It's like very far away. But let's take a look, because there are 5 big spiritual lessons that are embedded in the plot of this movie. The first one is, never underestimate the power of the spoken word. Never underestimate the power of the spoken word. So this is a Unity writer, Georgiana Tree West, and this is what she says about the spoken word. She said, mystically speaking, the word is an idea generated in mind. The word gives form to the idea. For every spoken word launches some idea into the realm of form. And this is spiritual law. So whatever idea that becomes a word, that becomes a feeling, that becomes a belief, when we speak it, we're blasting it into the universe, and the universe is going to echo back with a demonstration, with a manifestation, with an experience that's going to match our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs. So when we say it, like Kevin said it, God bless Kevin. He was so ignored. He was so unappreciated. His sister called him incompetent. His uncle Frank yelled at him. And then when his obnoxious oldest brother ate the last piece of cheese pizza, which just pushed Kevin over the edge, and he retaliated, I mean, his peevish behavior, it really was peevish, behavior deteriorated, milk got spilled, tickets and passports went everywhere. It was such chaos, and his mother dragged him up to the attic so that he could have some alone time. Never happened to me. So he could have some alone time. And he stands there on the stairs and he tells his mother, not once, but many times, I wish my family would just disappear. He put that into the universe in his spoken voice. And do you know what the next morning? They did. They did. Our spoken words are so powerful. The second lesson is adapt to the environment. So many times when something unexpected happens, we go into denial. It's pretty much our human nature to say, this is not happening to me. You must have the wrong number. I don't think those test results are accurate. I need a second opinion. We don't trust what's happening. We deny it. And as we deny what's really happening, what happens is that any fear that we've been harboring, any fear that we have unexpressed, any fear that we're just trying to tough out, those fears escalate. They get bigger, and they get bigger, and they get bigger. And Kevin goes down into the basement, and there's that furnace that he's been petrified of his whole life, and the furnace gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and pretty soon, whoop, Kevin's up the stairs and under the bed. But he adapts. He adapts, and it begins with the recognition that his fear will not serve him in this circumstance, that his fear could hold him hostage to being under the bed until who knows when. And he says, if I stay under the bed, it means I'm a wimp. And I can't be a wimp. I'm the man of the house. He adapts. And his adaptation is a little shaky. It's a little slow started. He goes out to procure a toothbrush, and that doesn't quite go so well. But he adapts by taking on what he sees is adult behavior. And as he takes it on, even though it's unfamiliar, he begins to embody it. So he takes a shower and he announces to the mirror, I have used soap in places that have never been scrubbed before. He says, I've shaved like a man and like my dad. And then what does he do? It's iconic. He puts on aftershave. Ooh. Ah! So think for yourself about a time when you've adapted, but the adaptation is unfamiliar and actually startles you. Like, wow, I'm adapting. Wow, I'm taking this on. Wow, I'm beginning to embody my new attitude. I'm beginning to adapt to my environment. Ah! So think of a time. And if you can't think of one that you want to share, no problem. But think about it and then honor yourself for your ability to adapt by doing with me, okay, with feeling, because really we're acknowledging that we've had a shift in consciousness and that we've been willing to leave our fears behind or at least set them aside, or even if we have to think about them as staying under the bed, we've adapted to our new environment. And that's a spiritual lesson. That's a spiritual practice. And that's a spiritual gift. Number 3, and this is such a profound lesson in this movie, I don't want you to miss it, is to reconcile error thinking. Adapt and reconcile your error thinking. You have the opportunity to do this because you've stepped into a new level of consciousness. And so reconciling our error thinking requires 3 things. A, don't believe rumors. B, don't buy into fear-mongering. And C, use your power of imagination. Rumors. The oldest brother told the fabricated tale about next door neighbor, Old Man Marley, being the South Bend shovel slayer. And Kevin believed it. And then Kevin goes to church all by himself, I just might add. He goes to church, and who comes to sit next to him but Old Man Marley? And Kevin, who's already begun this transformation, recognizes that Old Man Marley is actually a really nice guy. He's a really nice guy who's had a falling out with his son who he hasn't talked with in years. And Kevin says, I've done and said some things that I regret too. And I was afraid, but I overcame my fear. And look at how much better I feel now. Old Man Marley says, I am afraid that he will never talk to me again. And Kevin says, why don't you call him? And Old Man Marley says, I'm afraid he won't talk to me. And then Kevin said, you might as well try. The dialogue is absolutely beautiful. He says, if you call him, at least you'll know. You can stop worrying about whether he will or won't. And you won't have to be afraid anymore. I don't care how mad I am at my dad. I'd talk to him, especially at the holidays. Reconcile error thinking. A, don't believe rumors. Be. Don't buy into fear-mongering. And C, use your power of imagination to create a different outcome, to see new possibilities, to think beyond what you've been thinking so that you can find and claim your power, not to be missed. Number 4, create a new vision and take action to make it so. Kevin does this a couple of times in the movie. He creates a plan. I mean, he has it on a big sheet of paper and he rolls it out. He has to fend off those burglars from invading his house. And so he has this plan of his house and all the different strategies he was going to do in order to discourage these burglars from being in his home. And then on a deeper level, Kevin wanted his family to come back for Christmas. He wanted them to come back to a home that was welcoming, a home where they knew that they were going to be appreciated. He wanted them to come home to a place that was decorated. He went out, he got a saw, he cut that tree down all by himself. He drug it into the house. He decorated it with ornaments. And when his vision of having his family not be there began to wane and he began to worry and that crept back in, he walks down the street and he sees in somebody else's house this huge family gathered. It reinforced that this desire of his, this vision of his was actually possible and attainable. So he went home and he poured a glass of milk and put out some Christmas cookies for Santa. Create a vision and take action to make it so. And then finally, the last lesson I'm going to talk about is ask for what you want. Ask for what you want. It's kind of an inverse lesson of the first one. Is like, don't ask for what you don't want, but ask for what you want. And Kevin did. He went and tracked down Santa. Santa had just come off his shift. Santa had the beard down. Santa didn't, He said, I don't think you're the real Santa, but you know the real Santa. And would you please tell the real Santa that what I'm asking for Christmas is my family back? And then he named every single person in his family that he wanted to come home, including Uncle Frank. In the 16th chapter of the Gospel of John, Jesus instructed his disciples to ask, regardless of the circumstances, to ask for what they wanted. He said, he being Jesus, very truly I tell you, you will weep and mourn while the world rejoices. You will grieve, but your grief will turn to joy. A young woman giving birth to a child has pain because her time has come. But when her baby is born, she forgets her anguish because of her joy. That child is born into the world. So with you, very truly I tell you, my Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. Ask, and you will receive, and your joy will be complete. Ask, and you will receive, and your joy will be complete. Being mindful with our words. What do you need to do to adapt to your environment? What error thinking do you need to reconcile? What vision do you want to create? And what action are you willing to take to bring that vision into reality? What do you want to ask for this Christmas season? What do you want to ask for this Christmas season? Let's take these big questions that come out from incongruent, incomprehensible, unbelievable kind of story, but that can touch us deeply, that can open our hearts and minds. Let's take them into meditation. Close your eyes or soften your gaze wherever you are. Breathe. Know that you are loved and divinely supported by Spirit. And that Santa essence, that Spirit, Father, Mother, God, is here with you and loves you, supports you, and is willing to be with you on every part of your journey, in the obstacles, in the challenges, in the cynicism, in the dysfunction, in the loneliness, and in the joy, in the overcoming, in the transformation. That we at Unity of Wilmington are so honored to witness in you. What error, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs do you want to set aside? How do you want to adapt to your new emergent environment? What error thinking are you willing to set aside? To set aside as you set aside fear and step into your new vision, your new joy, your new peace. What is it that you want this Christmas? Allow yourself to sit, be supported by Spirit, to be lifted by this music, and to let your imagination go, to let your ears be open to the angels, your heart be open to gifts of great treasure, to be adored from near and far for just who and what you are. Ask, and you will receive, and you will experience great joy. So it is, and so we let it be. We come back to this time, this place, renewed, refreshed, re-energized, alive and grateful to be alive, grateful to have more time in our lives, grateful for all the feelings that are flowing from our open faucet of love, joy, peace.
Merry Christmas, happy holiday. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, happy holiday. We've been waiting all year for this night, and the snow is glistening on the trees outside. All the stockings are hung by the fireside. waiting for a Santa to arrive. And all the love will show, 'cause everybody knows it's Christmas time. And all the kids will see the gifts under the tree. It's the best time of year for the family. It's a wonderful feeling, feel the love in the room from the floor to the ceiling. It's that time of year, Christmas time is here. And with the blessings from above, we sing you our love. Everything's okay. Merry Christmas, happy holiday. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, happy holiday. Bells are ringing, it's time to scream and shout. Everybody's playing 'cause school's out, celebrating the special times we share. Happiness 'cause love is in the air. All the love will show, 'cause everybody knows it's Christmas time. And all the kids will see the gifts under the tree. It's the best time of year for the family. It's a wonderful feeling, feel the love in the room from the floor to the ceiling. It's that time of year, Christmas time is here. And with the blessings from above, we sing you our love. Everything's okay. Merry Christmas, happy holiday. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, happy holiday.
Thank you for being with us today. If you were touched, moved, or inspired by anything, tell somebody. Tell somebody what touched you and moved you. Share that information. It reinforces it in our lives and helps us to live it more fully. And if you desire, and it is our desire that you desire to support the community that is supporting you, we invite you to give. We invite you to give generously from your heart with joy. You can do so in the back if you're in the room. You can do so on Bismo. You can do so on our website, or you could write a check. There are many ways. Go to our website and find out. And we appreciate in advance your gifts.
As you go through this week, yes, 5 things are a lot to remember, but if you can only remember 2 things, celebrate your ability to adapt. Ask for what you want, you will receive, and you will be joy-filled.
No matter what your holiday, it's time to celebrate. Put your worries aside, open up your mind, feel the world right by your side. It's Christmas time. Merry Christmas, happy holiday. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's a wonderful feeling, for the love in the room from the floor to the ceiling. It's that time of year, Christmas time is here. And with the blessings from above, we sing you our love. Everything's okay. Merry Christmas, happy holiday.